a hyper turbo, and we are looking at button shoves. So if you play hyper turbos, pay attention. This is going to happen 100 times a day to you. Folds around a hero, and hero decides to do this. Yay or nay? Personally, I'm going to say nay. It's not the raise sizing that I'm against. I actually find it quite sexy, pretty cool to be different than the norm. But what I'm more considering here is the actual range, and I think that's where the requester is going with this video here. Is what is that range, and am I too wide? I know he says 6 big blinds is the point where you want to start getting more active, and that's very, very true. But is this a little bit too active? I think it is. I think as the worst hand that you can shove here for an offsuit hand is 7-6 offsuit. I would go 7-6 offsuit as my worst one here. And a little background about where that came from. I've never been a fan of Nash Equilibrium because I'm a fan of natural human thought and thinking for yourself. But the one thing I remember seeing in the very beginning stages of my poker learning was on that really, those 2 Nash charts that everybody's seen. There's something on there that really caught my eye. And so I don't listen to Nash at all, but this is the only thing I actually like from it. It's that the difference between 2 hands that are neighboring hands, for example, Ace King, Ace Queen, they're neighbors. 7-6 and 6-5 are neighbors. The biggest gap in strength between 2 hands happens to be 5-6 offsuit and 7-6 offsuit, where it said something like you can shove 5-6 for 2.4 big blinds, but you can shove 7-6 for about 10 big blinds. And I always found that interesting, not for the number of big blinds it says, but because the gap between them was bigger than any 2 neighboring cards on the whole entire thing. So I always found that interesting, and what that led me to do in my play was to cut off my offsuit shoving range at 7-6. So 7-6 is always like my base, and then I build beyond that. And so anytime I drop below 7-6, then I let it go, and so that would be a situation here. Now, I would shove 6-4 when I'm down to 4 big blinds, but not until then. Maybe 5, or maybe, for example, if this was a higher pressure game, it's a 180 and the blinds are way bigger and the pots are way bigger. But in a measly little hyper turbo where you have a lot of time, the blinds are measly, they're small. You don't need to pick up the 5,000 chip pot or something like that. So I would recommend 7-6 as my lowest of my range here. And then I would build on that like 9-8, 9-7, ace high, king 5. Maybe you can do like, I don't know, queen 5, queen 4 suited if you want. In terms of suited connectors, I think you can drop below 7-6, but that's because they're suited. So 5-4 suited, I think sounds really good. And that is how you should structure your range in a situation like this. So just remember, 7-6 is this line, okay? Focus on building most of your hands above that. The only ones that are going to drop below that in a situation like this are going to be the suited connectors that have a little bit more of an equity boost and are stronger to play. Hope it helps.